Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Reboot Roundtable, the podcast where we talk about reboots, rewrites, and sequels of classic fictional franchises and just general nerd culture. I am joined, as always, by Jay.
Hi.
And CJ.
Hello, hello.
So, yeah, how are you all doing on the week before Christmas? Kind of.
I'm feeling very festive, very jolly. I've somehow managed to avoid Mariah Carey, so it's been a good holiday season.
Wait, yeah, that's right. I haven't dealt with her.
Let's not talk too much about it yet, because next week we do plan to do a Christmas-themed episode. I don't know who's going to be on there with me, but we may have a surprise guest named Santa Claus. Anyways, so that aside, today's episode, we are talking about first-person shooter video games, all right? Where do you all stand on first-person shooters?
Would you like to go first, CJ?
I would. I love first-person shooters. I grew up. My first-person shooter was Halo Reach. I grew up with that style of gameplay. It's pretty simple: point, shoot, think later. Love it.
All right, yeah, and that leads me to jump in. I have played a lot of first-person shooters. Connor can attest. I'm pretty darn good at what I do. Yeah, I started out in Black Ops 2. Really, I mean, I started playing Halo, but my addiction grew in Black Ops 2. Let's just say I was running fades in League play back before it was cool. So, yeah, I was a COD guy.
Yeah, and for me, I played them a lot as a kid, mostly against my own family. Was one of those families where me, dad, and my siblings would all get on Call of Duty and shoot each other a bunch. But outside of that, I'm not like a massive fan of them, but I've played a lot in my time. And what we're specifically going to talk about today is what are some franchises that would have interesting first-person shooter style games. When we say first-person shooters, we're talking about your Call of Duties, your Battlefields, your Halos, your Battlefronts if you have them in first person, like, you know what I mean? Like that, those kind of feeling games, you know? I guess your Apex Legends if you really want to get spicy, or Titanfall.
We're trying to talk about, like, you named a lot of really good games, and then you named Apex, so.
I loved Apex, okay?
It was great back in the day,
I haven't played in years, to be fair.
I heard I haven't either, to be fair.
So yeah, we're gonna kind of just talk about some of these franchises, and I have a list of them that I think could be interesting. Some of them are reasonable, some of them are not. And I'm going to start with one of my more reasonable ones, which is Fallout needs a first-person shooter game in the style of Battlefield. My pitch for this being, you have so many classic Fallout factions, right? And we do know there were like historical wars that happened after the bombs fell. So could you not imagine, like, maybe it's Miniman versus the Brotherhood of Steel, or the Caesar guys, the like Roman wannabes from New Vegas versus
the Legion
versus like Raiders or whatever, right? You could have Vertibirds. I think that's what they're called, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd have the power armor. Like, I think that could be really cool, especially if you set it in some of the classic environments we've seen before, like using New Vegas in like a Battlefield style, like command checkpoint kind of thing. That's kind of, am I wrong that sounds kind of cool?
Controlling the Mojave almost makes me wish for a nuclear winter.
Yes.
I would play the heck out of that, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, that would actually be really cool.
And could you also imagine if you could play not even just as different factions, but also as like some of the other races? Like maybe you could play as like super mutants.
Yeah.
And say like a small team versus a big team style, like boss rush type, where like you've got to kill the super mutants, or I don't know, you control a Deathclaw. That could be really fun. It'd be really fun and kooky and crazy.
You could take it. My brain goes to like very much old school Battlefront would be a great thing to emulate there. Because it was just kind of like, yeah, it's not balanced, but it's accurate. Have fun. Like, I think that could be a lot of fun.
I would say Whereas like Battlefront tend to have like some of its more hero type classes in a sense.
Hmm.
I think I would enjoy it more so in the sense of like Battlefield, where the most powerful you can get is with vehicles.
Yes.
But you could easily do like a replication of the first Battle of Hoover Dam, for example, with the NCR versus the Legion. You could
Mhm.
do things such as Brotherhood of Steel versus, or I guess a reenactment of Brotherhood of Steel versus the Institute, like Fallout 4 style. I think it'd be interesting. Like we could do it almost like the Battlefront Galactic Assault kind of style of mission, where there's
Yes.
different phases, but have it like with the Battlefield style of gameplay, where there's like map destruction, things of that sort. I think that'd be really interesting.
And you could
Mhm.
also do the thing of where I would actually, and this isn't like super popular in a lot of modern games, have every faction have access to only the weapons their faction uses, right? Like every faction should feel completely different. The Institute will use completely different weapons than the Brotherhood of Steel will, and the Brotherhood of Steel will use different weapons than the Raiders, and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? You saw that in like the old Battlefront games, which is why I referenced it. But like your Halos, your Call of Duties, a lot of them they let you use any faction's weapons in multiplayer. You know what I mean? But I think it could be really interesting because you'll have the class system. I assume you would have to have classes around it. Your medics, your engineers, whatever. Heavy, but yeah, if you had it like specialized, like, yeah, give you a selection of weapons, but make it faction specific. I don't want my such and such faction using guns that they wouldn't have used. Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
Mhm.
I think it'd be interesting on that and like in that way to make it where each team has their own distinct guns,
Yeah.
but have them like you could have each team having, for example, like a rifle,
Mm-hmm.
whereas you might have your NCR running, like the what is essentially an M16, or you can have your Brotherhood of Steel running a Gauss rifle or a laser rifle, but have them both have like the same stats, but essentially just be a different skinned version of one another. I think that would be really
You
interesting. So you
could
could
do it
have
that
each
way.
side
Yeah.
feel unique, but still remain balanced.
Yeah. So I think that was a good one to start on. How many Vault Boys out of the Fallout TV show would we give this idea?
You ever ask that again?
The little Vault Boy with his thumbs
I'm
up.
not even gonna
I'm,
tell you.
I'm gonna say a 9.5 because I would no joke. I would buy that game for $60,
Awesome.
I would
maybe
give
even
that.
70. I'm feeling spicy. I would do that.
I'd
So,
give it a solid 8 stars, but not Vault Boys.
do either of you have something you want to throw out there before I throw out my next one?
Go ahead, CJ. I know you had some.
I was gonna say having like a fun pirates theme one, whether it be like a Sea of Thieves kind of, or like a Pirates of the Caribbean, but in that multiplayer style.
I don't know how that would work in an actual first-person shooter style feel. Like, I don't know how Call of Duty would feel if you had swinging from boat to boat.
That
Well,
could
think of
actually
it
be
in like
really
the
cool.
Black Ops 3 style, or like the Titanfall kind of style, where they
Yeah.
have that better mobility.
Mm-hmm.
Except for rather than wall running, you would be essentially swinging from the ropes from a mast, things of that sort.
But would you want
I
to play
also
Jumping from ship to ship.
I also love the idea of a dynamic environment
Mm-hmm.
where like maybe you are fighting two boats on the ocean and like you have to cross over like a hard point style, like not even hard point, maybe it's like a capture the flag of like get on their ship, take their stuff, come back, or kill confirmed or whatever the mode would tend to be.
I think it'd be fun as captured flags. It's like you're just stealing their treasure.
Yeah. Oh, that could be it. It's literally just a loot run where like you've got to get to their ship, take their stuff, and bring it back. Whoever brings more wins, and like your ship is going to be relative safety because you're surrounded by allies. Their ship is not going to be the case, and it's like it's a dynamic environment because the ships are going to be spreading apart, coming together. They might crash into each other at some point. Like
Honestly, it could be kind of almost a hero shooter like Rainbow Six Siege is what my brain goes to.
Siege.
Yeah, so like you would have both your boats, but you don't do like massive teams, right? Like, yeah, you have like NPC crews defending your ship or whatever, but like maybe you have like operators or whatever you want to call them. I don't know, like legendary pirates, and they could have like specialized gear. Especially if you wanted to play into like the mythology of piracy, where you could even take some of these like historical pirate. Yes, Jay.
I was going to say, even hear me out.
Yeah.
More along the Battlefront style, no, CJ?
I
Where
don't
you
know
could
about
still have
having a
those heroes,
massive
but
scale. I would say having I'm gonna say kind of in the For Honor style of like your players are these specialized pirates, but there are a lot of like NPCs you can see kind of running around, etc., trying to defend each ship, etc.
I do
So
like
I don't know how I feel about like a massive, 20 or 40v40 game. I feel like that'd be too much.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be like perfect in the sense of like the 4v4, maybe like an 8v8, something like that,
So the
or
question
something kind
comes
of
down
smaller
though,
scale.
cool game idea. Should it be first person though? Because I feel like this game would only honestly work better in your Assassin's Creed style of a third
Well,
person
hear
game.
me out, right?
Yeah.
I think the big appeal of making this first person is to sort of mimic the sheer chaos a battle like this would look like.
Mm-hmm.
Like the thing that is so immersive to me about a game like Battlefield is that you're just so there's so much going on. You don't have that third person peek where you can like hide behind a wall. It's like all right in your face. And this would be the same thing of like there's so much going on in such a small space that it almost feels wrong to make it third person to give you a bird's eye view. Feels like first person is just more immersive, if you want the term.
So how many Jack Sparrows running away from a bunch of cannibals
I'm begging you to stop.
out of the Black Pearl would we give this game idea?
The Black Pearl?
It's a boat.
I think it's a fun idea, but realistically, I know I proposed it, but I would say I'd probably give it like a 6, maybe a 7. So it's an idea, but it would have to be refined.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grabbing a fat 8 or a 9. I actually really want to play this now.
I'd probably go lower. I love pirates, but based on this pitch initially, not a biggest fan of it, but it has potential, so I'd probably go like a 5 or a 6.
Yeah.
So let's go. Jay, do you have any before I come back around? And you're allowed to say no. Uh-oh. What do you got, Jay?
I'm sorry? Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna ignore that. Okay. I have an idea. It's not nearly as well fleshed out, but I have a universe that I think a first-person shooter kind of just makes sense to be in, which is John Wick, the John Wick universe. Now, as a Call of Duty Battlefield style, I'll be real, 100%. I don't know the world enough. However, as a hero shooter, I just want to play as John Wick, guys. I want to shoot people as John Wick.
I think John Wick. So I think
it could work.
John Wick should get a game, 100%. I don't know if first person John Wick. It feels kind of like how they made Indiana Jones first person, which I think is really weird. I haven't played the game. I'll admit.
I'm tired of third person games. Make me first person, please.
No, I cannot stand first person games that are story driven.
Wall built. Boom, between us. There you go.
But when it comes down to like where we're talking specifically like your massive multiplayer games, I could see a hero shooter that's around the characters that feel like John Wick. So like your John Wicks, your James Bonds, your John Rambos. You could do like that kind of feel if you got like a bunch of those franchises together. I don't think John Wick by himself could carry a multiplayer game because of how focused that is on John Wick. And with the movement that would have to come with a John Wick game, I don't think you can make that movement in first person.
That is fair. I actually really like your idea there. Real quick is like getting a bunch of these characters together. You're like John Wick, you're Rambo, you're just a bunch of like bunch of human like Theodore Roosevelt, bunch of human type characters who like
Theodore Roosevelt is crazy.
You just put together and do like a hero shooter where you have a bunch of just kind of goons. You have a bunch of goons, and then like you have your heroes running around and able to just I don't know, you could have that going around like the For Honor style, like CJ said. I think that could be really cool.
Yeah, that could work. Or it could work as
bunch
just
of
like
goons.
a very close packed kind of weirdly, I'm surprised Rainbow Six Siege hasn't done this where they've gotten these kind of characters in. Because I would never play Siege unless they threw in now here's John Wick, here's John Rambo, here's James.
It's probably pretty hard to like fit that into their canon.
They did things similar to that, but not with movie characters. More so with characters like from the Ubisoft universe. Like when they added Sam Fisher, mind you, they did it in the wrong way. Yeah, but they did add Sam Fisher, who is essentially like the Ubisoft John Wick of sorts.
Only character they could add that would make me play the game is if they added Mr. Watchdog from Watch Dogs. Whose name is Pierce. Right now. Yeah, Aiden Pierce. If they added Aiden Pierce,
oh my god,
I would play Rainbow Six Siege.
That would be a fun first-person shooter, a Watch Dogs themed game where you can literally like hack other people's shit. That would be a lot of fun.
That could be really cool. Yeah,
you just raised a really good idea there, Connor.
Yeah. No, so I don't know if like which one do we want to Was this so are we gonna call it like the shooter here Rainbow Six Siege is more of what we're pitching, or which are we voting out of 10 this time?
What are you? Oh, for the hero shooters. This gets a how many how many super cool, super epic, awesome swag assassin dudes
How
out
many
of 10?
pencils and eyes out of 10?
Pencils?
Yeah, John
How
Wick
many
kills the eye
Fortnites
with
out
a
of 10 does this get you?
Holy crap.
Fortnite.
I'd say I don't think I'd personally enjoy it, but it would be fun to see. I think it'd be a 7 for me.
CJ?
Honestly, I'm not sure how I feel about it. Again, I feel like it would just need some more refining as it was kind of described. I would give it like a 5 or a 6, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. It's okay to be honest.
It's not.
It's a
You're
it's
gonna
a
be
safe
never
space.
coming back. I hope you know that now.
Okay.
To the video
To the
listeners.
Shadow Realm.
To the video listeners at home. I am crying. Grown man tears.
So here's my next one, and this one's gonna require a bit of discussion. I guarantee it. Harry Potter.
With a gun?
No. Use wands. Wands are still the weapon, right? But you get to customize your loadout of what spells you're bringing into the fight, right? Can I not even finish my initial thoughts? No, go ahead, Jay. Jay has something to say, people. Let's hear what he has to say.
Voldemort with a pistol.
No, we're not doing the guns. No. But, like, you could bring in, like, say you bring in 6 spells per fight. Or per match type thing. Expelliarmus, the water spell I can't think of the name of, Sectum Sempra. Like, you come in, each spell will fill a very obvious combat role or support role, right? And so so what I'm saying is, could you imagine also the environments you could choose, like your Hogwarts is, or you could choose anything from the real world as well, where you're having wizard battles. Do a super destructible environment. And then it could be just dark wizards versus the Order of the Phoenix, or you could do like Aurors or whatever you want to do with it. It really doesn't matter what combat roles they're filling, but then just do like probably smaller fights in a smaller arena where you've got like apparition going on. Because I think there could be an insane play where you're just like, shit, we're pinned down. I'm going to apparate to the ceiling, and I'm just going to stupefy these guys. They're not going to kill them, but I'm going to stun them real quick. Like, I'm not off the wall here, right?
I actually like the idea a lot, especially if you have it. If you have more like tactical magics in play, like being able to move the terrain into a place that like fits better for your team structure, being able to like apparate. You wouldn't be. I don't think you should be able to apparate anywhere, but being able to just apparate every now and again, or I guess just having a bunch of people running around with killing curses could be really funny.
The thing I think you could do with like the killing curse, for example, because of like I think even in lore, you have to actually want the person dead. Like you got to have an actual problem with that person.
Oh, that's not an issue.
But it could be a thing of it could be like a charged up attack, right? Like so you can't use it immediately, but you can use like one every like 5 millennia.
I also think if you set it up so that like you're not actually killing the enemies, but you're more just kind of like incapacitating them. That away, because Harry Potter is a kids universe for the vast majority of it.
To be fair, no, they do a lot of brutal killings. Like even
do they?
Like
it has been a very long time since I've read the books.
Like even in the first book, Harry kills his professor, like just straight up.
Oh yeah,
kills his professor.
I was just thinking in terms of like a marketing. It's really hard to market the idea of just murdering children.
Well, no, you don't do it as the kid. It's not going to be the kid Hogwarts students. Like I think you do it.
Really?
You do like your Battle of Hogwarts feel, right? Like where it's like a bunch of good wizards. So like there can be younger wizards, but it's like you don't have 5-year-olds in this battlefield, right? Like you do it like very much.
I mean, CJ, you can help me out here, but like, don't tell me you're not at least a little interested in just.
Let's not go there, okay?
Help me out here, CJ. I'm digging my hole.
Yeah, CJ, what are your thoughts on this idea?
I can't say too much in terms of this because I'm not incredibly educated on the Harry Potter universe because I read half of the first book and then never watched the movies, so I'm going to be completely honest. I'm an absolute troglodyte in this area.
That's fair.
But
justified.
I will say, if nothing else, the idea is interesting. I would give it I think I'd give it 8 M9s out of Voldemort.
What?
That's fair. Yeah, yeah,
Because I need to see that man with a gun.
Holy
yeah.
crap.
I just love the idea of Voldemort with a gun.
there
Harry
is
Potter.
a fan edit of most of the Harry Potter movies where they all have guns instead of wands.
I know Hermione freaking murders Neville, and I
Yeah.
died laughing when I saw it.
So
I'm sorry to do this, Neville, and he falls over dead.
if you do have any more, because I have a couple more, if y'all don't have any.
I already mentioned it earlier, but I'd say Watch Dogs.
Yeah, Watch Dogs could be interesting.
Watch Dogs is such an interesting one. I like it.
I just want more Watch Dogs games. I'm really sad that they're not like doing any since Watch Dogs Legion didn't do well.
Hmm.
I loved Watch Dogs.
Guys, hear me out on Halo. I don't know what y'all know about Halo, but it could be really good as a first-person shooter.
To the Shadow Realm.
I think that, like, especially if you had like a Call of Duty-esque campaign, not campaign, but
No, that's the
multiplayer.
thing that killed Halo.
I think if you have teams
Yeah,
fighting
as
each
long as
other to
Spartan
death,
Luck is involved, I'm hyped.
mm-hmm.
Okay,
And you
so-
could like play as Spartans.
I
and
know
as
where both
people.
of you reside.
here's my next one. Okay,
I can't wait for you to show
And-
up.
and-
Aha!
so this one is going to require a little context, and I am very much inspired by Marvel Rivals. We need a Shield versus Hydra first-person shooter game. Okay.
Okay.
And then, so what you do, and you could, I guess technically, like, just me and my brain, Shield and Hydra are the best choices. And you could do other factions as well. Do it Battlefront, original Battlefront style, right? Where it's both of them, they're fighting over areas, and then you have a bunch of hero fighters involved, right, as well. Like, not like the, not in the sense of, like, there's a bunch of superheroes, but, like, you can get, like, superheroes to join into the fights. And supervillains, obviously, for Hydra's side, right? Because hear me out, I want to do a massive gunfight on the helicarrier and then be like, we're pinned down! And then just Hulk comes running through fighting, like, Red Skull. I don't know. I couldn't think of a Hydra-based villain off the top of my head. What are your all's thoughts on that initial psychotic imagery?
We had to figure out a way how to make it into a first-person shooter and not essentially just Marvel Rivals with goons.
That's what I'm saying is you're the goons. That's what you are. You are the soldiers.
Goon?
I'm going to send you to the Shadow Realm if you keep up this bet.
I could see some co-op modes with that too, though. Honestly, I could see like
Yeah.
you're just a bunch of the shield guys, and you have like almost like a Destiny style raid or like a boss rush where you're having to take down all these Hydra agents and trying to like contain Red Skull or something of that sort.
Well, I think it got canceled, but they were working on a Batman game where it was going to basically be the GCPD versus the Batman, like, rogues gallery soldiers. And then one, like, basically two players would get to be Batman and Robin. And so, like, while everyone else is fighting each other in just a standard first-person shooter fight, the other two are just Batman and Robin trying to save lives. And I think that could be kind of fun in that feel as well. I think it failed because people only wanted to be Batman and Robin, which you'd want to make the gunplay better so that people wanted to play as the soldiers too. But
I'd want to play as a soldier. I love the idea of just shooting at people that I have no business shooting at.
and then just all of a sudden, Batman.
I don't know. In my head, the idea of like a DC style shooter where just Superman's flying overhead and I'm taking pop shots with an M4. Knowing full well nothing's gonna happen. Just the idea that something could happen. You know?
Crap. Yeah. I think we've covered a wide variety of franchises. Yeah, so yeah, viewers at home, we'll make this a little bit of a shorter episode. Let us know, what are some franchises you think need first-person shooter style games for? Yeah, next week we're gonna do a Christmas special, so definitely tune in for that. Assuming I can actually kidnap enough people for it. Yes, Jay?
You forgot to tell them that if they like the video and leave enough comments, you'll let me out for a couple days. Guys, I haven't seen the sun in 3 weeks.
Yeah, no,
Please
we
please
don't
help
even talk
me.
about that aspect.
Please
Okay.
help me. He won't let me out.
Well, you have a window.
I'm so... Yeah, it serves as a reminder of what I'm losing out on. I can't
Thanks for
leave.
watching, guys.
It's
and,
bolted down. I'm gonna lose it.
CJ, hush him up.
No.
All right,
No!
back to the Shadow Realm with you.